Cheide!
For this 3-minute rules, we will be looking at the magic phase, and in particular, the Dispel. All of this can be found on page 35 of the large 8th edition rulebook. If the wizard was able to cast his spell or her spell and it was not cast with irresistible force, the opposing player now has a chance to prevent the spell's effects by attempting to dispel it. Let's say, for example, that this level 4 cast Earthblood and did so with a roll of 12. A roll now of 4, 8, 12 plus the level 4 means that this spell was successfully cast with 16. In response now, this side must select one of its wizards to try to dispel. Now any wizard anywhere on the board is able to carry out a dispel. You do not need to be within range, within line of sight. The wizard does not need to see the target or the caster. You simply nominate any wizard on the battlefield. Once we have now selected this wizard to carry out the dispel, we then need to choose a number of dispel dice. Let's say in this instance we have a total of 7 dice in the dispel dice pool. Unlike casting attempts, there is no upper limit on the number of dice that can be used in a dispel attempt, although you must roll at least 1. In this case, we will use all 7. So we will take all 7 of our dice and attempt to meet or exceed the roll of our opponent. So now we have rolled a total of 24 plus our 4 for our level 4, so 28. In this case, we have met or beat the casting value here, which was 16. So we may say that that spell has been dispelled. A few important points about dispelling. Were we to be so unlucky as to roll 7 ones, plus our level 4 for a total of 11, we would not have been able to dispel. In this case, the dispel attempt has failed. Furthermore, the wizard here is so preoccupied by his collapsing dispel that he or she is unable to attempt another dispel later in the phase. Second, just as when casting a spell, a total natural dice score of 1 or 2 is always considered to be a failure despite any modifiers. So whether we roll a 1 on a single dice, 2 ones on 2 dice, or a 2 on 1 die, this will always fail regardless of any bonuses or the level of the wizard. Third, if 2 or more 6s are rolled in a dispel attempt, the spell is dispelled automatically. In other words, it is dispelled with irresistible force. So in other words, regardless of any score over here, as long as this is not cast with irresistible force, any 2 6s will dispel automatically. In addition, if a player is called upon to re-roll the dice for any reason, it is the second result that stands as is normal for a re-roll. Note that a dispel that achieves irresistible force does not cause a miscast roll. A brief word about dispelling in armies. Were an army not to have a mage or wizard in their ranks, or were the wizard or mage unable to attempt a dispel attempt, the army is always able to attempt a dispel with the number of dice they have in their dispel pool. What this means, however, is that they get no modifiers as would a wizard from a wizard level. In addition, a special rule for dwarves. Even though dwarves have turned away from spellcraft long ago, as a result of this, there are no dwarf wizards, but their race has become highly resistant to magic. Accordingly, when a dwarf army attempts to dispel, the innate magic resistance of the dwarfs grants the army a +2 bonus to all dispel attempts. And with that, we come to the conclusion of our 3-minute rules discussion of the Dispel. Thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming, where Grey can always play.